Hi everyone, it's Robin here, and this is part 5 of my Pokemon Black and White rewrite. So without further ado, let's dive in. As the story continues, for the following episode, things pretty much got the same, with the story running into Meowth, who claims to have been fired named Rocket, but we all know he's just a ploy to steal the Pokemon, the name was the Pokemon Center. But the things pretty much go the same there. However, in the episode, Behem, Duhoshin, and the Dream Thief, it can actually have it so that it's Munna who primarily handles battling against the Behem. Being a Pokemon that easily travels through dreams, it recognizes the signs quite early and is able to aid the team with getting out of it. But just then, the thief drops a monster from her pocket, and Munna quickly swoops to get it and actually causes it to evolve into Musharna. Using its improved dream power, it's able to break free and defeat the Dream Thief and Behem. From that part, pretty much go the same as the game ends up in the Bowser City. Meowth still going on with the rock as they steal new Pokemon Center using the subway, and the heroes eventually saving the day. Now when we are in the Bowser City, this is gonna be the city that has the most whole story, so let's buckle up for it. The first thing our king does is to go to the Bowser Gym so Ash and Hilbert can have their gym battle. Hilbert, being worried about Pignite, allows Ash this time to go first. While in there, they meet Elisa, and having taken somewhat of a mentor role, well, Ash doesn't just go in with a single Pokemon, and him actually having more than one ground type allows him to pretty much run the opposite team with 3 Pokemon. It's a 3-on-3 like Ganon, and the first matchup is a Striker versus Gabite. The battle is heavy since the Striker is a pretty heavy hitter. However, Gabite is still strong and is able to get the first win. Next is a Molga, and using its flying ability and track, is able to get Gabite vacated and fortunately is enough to take it out. Our second Pokemon is Krokorok, and while it's able to use Dig to avoid the attack for a while, Emolga's flying ability allows it to easily avoid Molten Krokorok's attack. It's able to using a Stonish counter shield to block out the attack for a while, but eventually Emolga is able to get the upper hand, and eventually Krokorok will take it down as well. However, that battle took a lot out of Emolga, so when Ash switches into Snivy, it's able to deliver a quick lead blade which takes down Emolga, rounding his battle up to a 1-on-1. With that, Elisa then in time, which seems like a weak choice. However, it's incredibly fast and the tackle are no jokes. It seems like Elisa is going to win. However, you then Ash uses a track which is actually able to infatuate. This momentary strike is enough so Snivy can come in and finish time off with another lead blade. Meaning Ash has won his 4th gym match without much trouble. After a day's rest, it's now time for Hilbert to take on the gym. It's Scraggy versus Galvantula. Somewhat expecting her to switch up her lead for his guard. Since Hilbert's are both doing the same, he's not as surprised as he would have been originally. However, unfortunately, Scraggy is too outmatched and eventually Galvantula take the win. Next, he's an Tortuga, and while it seems like an odd choice, its rock typing actually provides some good power, and it actually able knows Protect, which means it can block most electric attacks. And eventually, an ancient power takes down Galvantula, and next encounters Emolga. Emolga attempts to use the trap again, however it doesn't work, and Shan Tortuga is actually a female. While a track is on the menu, Emolga is not an easy pushover. And eventually, even Tortuga is taken down, and then Hilbert in his final Pokemon, Musharna, able to easily defeat Emolga because of weakness. With that, Elisa's final Pokemon becomes a Striker, as Hilbert does the best to keep Musharna at a distance and using a status to his advantage. However, the Striker is too fast, and in the end is able to take down Musharna, leading to Hilbert's first ever loss in a gym battle. When he returned to Pokemon Center, Hilbert is crushed. He doesn't know what to do anymore. With Pignite not listening to him, and now losing to Elisa, he doesn't know what to do. In an attempt to cheer them up, actually they all explore the city, trying to have some fun, and Hilbert reluctantly agrees. However, as he wanders around, he's still conflicted. But when he's walking, he actually runs into a familiar face, Silent. Surprised to see him here, Silent reveals that he's a big fan of the subway bosses in Gwanemet and wanted to come see them. But noticing Hilbert's distress, he asks what's wrong. Hilbert decides to tell him about his recent struggle against Elisa and also with Pignite, even allowing Pignite to come out. Silent listens to it, and when he comes to Pignite, he suggests that maybe had not battled with him is the problem. Pignite starts to think that Hilbert doesn't trust it anymore, and that leads to a rift between their bond. Questioning what he can do to fix it, Silent suggests that they take on the subway challenge in an attempt to beat the subway bosses. After a bit of thinking, Hilbert decides to agree, and eventually they enter the train and had a battle through several 2 trainers to get to England. Hilbert uses Pignite and Ash uses Passage. However, for the most part, Pignite has not been listening to anything Hilbert says. often rushing on head in for to attack and almost getting Pansage in the crossfire. This avoided not to go well, and eventually they continued. But just then, the two of them reaches the subway bosses Ingo and Emmet. At the battle again, the bosses send out their Pokemon Chandelure and Electros, immediately picking up goals from the offensive. However, Chandelure can easily counter pretty much anything, being a fire and ghost type with the ability Flash Fire. Piglet immediately doesn't get anywhere. Eventually, they come to a point where Chandelure is able to confuse Piglet. Sarah trying to have Pansage aid them, however, Electro is keeping Pansage at bay. Seeing that Piglet seems to be about to be knocked out, Hilbert calls out to Piglet and serving as his eye. Having no particular reason, Piglet decides to agree and avoids when Hilbert said and tells to attack where Duster. This actually proves to be a pretty effective move. Not having to rely on his eyesight, his concentration is improving, and eventually he can open his eyes again, but he still does what Hilbert says. Being happy by this is Hilbert keep pushing the attack. However, that's when the subway boss delivers a combination attack and unfortunately take both Piglet and Pansage out. The subway boss congratulates them and says that they have a long way to go, but they can definitely get there. Once outside, Hilbert feigns silence to battling with them, saying that he believes he's now finally be able to keep going alongside the Piglet. Over with Hilda, she is over at the Pokemon musical and is excited to see another musical and hopefully be able to recommend herself. Just then, she runs into the director saying that they have a problem since the director that will be working today is unfortunately calling sick. Hilda offers to aid and decides to do so. Hilda, working alongside her own Pokemon as well as some of the Pokemon that are in the studio, she's able to put up a performance to dazzle the audience. The owner thanks Hilda and get all well done and suggests that she has a bright future and offered to have her stay here and keep working with her. While happy about it, Hilda said that she's currently on a training alongside her brother and a friend, so she may have to take her off another day. Being understandable, the man agrees, and so Hilda returns to the Poké Center to meet up with Ash and Hilbert. Lastly, we're related to Ash, who is currently at the amusement park with Pikachu, trying to on some of the attractions. However, once he gets to the Ferris wheel, he actually encounters N. When N sees him, he actually asks Ash to come with him on a little ride, and Ash progressively agrees. This is where N reveals that he is in fact the king of Team Plasma, telling us that he's planning on using Resonance power to force people and Pokemon to be separated. Ash is fully against it. However, N then encouraging Ash to be against it, because according to the legend, the hero of truth and the hero of ideals are supposed to face off, determining Unova's future. And N believes that Ash may in fact be the hero of ideals, the one who is to face him and determining the future of people and Pokemon. Ash starting to realize the pressure now. If Team Plasma get what they want, Pokemon and people may just be forced to separate. However, he will not allow that. He will not allow people and Pokemon's bond to be severed just like that. And then revealed that there is another reason he came to Nimbus City, and that is because an old friend of his was bringing him to his father and to his village. And since him somewhat respect Ash, and invites Ash to come along. Not sure if he should trust him, but believing that it would be important to come along, Ash agrees. With that, the two of them go towards the Lockhorn Forest. Just then, something appears in front of them, and it's revealed to be a shiny Zoroark. This Zoroark looks towards Ash with disdain. However, N calls it down, saying that it's not gonna harm him now. But for now, it's time for Zoroark to bring him to his father. And so, the Zoroark agrees before using his illusion power and apparently opening a portal, or in fact, uncloaking an illusion. Once they enter, they see a valley full of Zora and Zoroark, and tells Ash that this is the Hidden Valley, a place where Zora and Zoroark live peacefully outside of any Pokemon or human detection. He also reveals that the Zoroark beside him is actually the son of the Elder, and now he's gonna ask the Elder for aid. Surprised by this, Ash asks N why he brought him with him if he's just gonna ask for help to take him down. But N just smiles, saying that while he's not against Ash personally, as the hero of truth, he needs to show that he truly is the right way to go. Eventually, the two of them reaches Elder Zoroark, who introduces himself to them as Zoroark Elder by using telepathy. Just then, the shiny Zoroark approaches his father, speaking in telepathy as well, introduces N as the human he wishes to aging Unova forever. N makes his plea to the Elder. While the Elder is wise, he is not fully sure if N's path is the right one. His son does his best to convince his father. However, before the Elder can make a verdict, another voice breaks up, and just then, another Zoroark jumps in, revealing to be the Elder's daughter. They plead that human and Pokemon can live together, and not all humans are evil. Her brother, on the other hand, refuses to agree to it, saying that it's just childish naivety. However, just then, the Zoroark then just appeared to say something surprising. How can they say that when one of the most noble humans he knows is right here? And then point towards Ash. Being confused by this, however, just then, someone points Ash back. And when he turns around, there is another Ash. Or it looks like him, but he's wearing different clothes. Ash recognizes what he wore when he was traveling through the Sinnoh region. But just then, the other Ash jumped into the air and surrounded by pink light before reverting into Zoroark, talking to Ash telepathically. This reveals that this is the same Zoroark that Ash met during the movie Zoroark Master of Illusions. Yet Ash immediately greets Zoroark as an old friend. The same with Pikachu, and then is surprised that he already knows this little Zoroark. Back with the Elder, Mima explains that this fact that the human that saved the Elder's grandson is here shows them that they should be aiding him and not N. The shiny Zoroark refused to accept that though, saying that just because they aided him once does not mean they are actually having their best interest in mind. The Elder Zoroark understands what his son is saying, but he also understands his daughter's reasoning. And with that, the Elder suggests that the two humans have a battle to truly show their point of view. Because if there's one scenario which shows Pokemon's real ideals, it's battle. Ash immediately agrees to show his ideals in battle, while N is reluctant, he agrees to it. And with that, he calls upon one of his friends and he reveals a Sigilyph. However, before Ash can sit in one of his Pokemon, Sora jumps in, saying that he wants a battle with Ash. The Elder agrees to it only if Ash says so, and Ash decides to agree. And with that, Ash and Sora battle against N and Sigilyph. Sigilyph is powerful, right? But Zora's trickiness is able to keep it a good distance away. But just then, Sigilyph will give a powerful shadow ball, which engulfs Zoroark in an explosion. However, when it looks like it's all of a sudden, a massive Zoroark appears right where Zora stood. And believe that they might have evolved, but just then, Ash calls upon a Sucker Punch, which actually strikes from behind, revealing that Zora is actually just the same as before, and the big Zoroark is an illusion. And Zora delivers a powerful Night Daze which is able to take Sigilyph down. Ash Pikachu congratulates Zora on a battle well done. And with that, Mima and the Elder approaches them, telling Zora that he was incredibly strong. And the Elder offers Ash the entire path help. But Ash said he doesn't want that. He wants Zora to live their own life. If that means that they're gonna take our battle with the human team Plasma, he's more than happy with that. This surprised the Elder, seeing that he did not come here to force them to help him, but just wanted them to live their life. But then the Elder smiled, saying that Ash's heart is truly noble. Oh, with N, he and the shiny Zoroark walked up. Zoroark accepted that his pack is going to go with the other one, but that doesn't mean it's going to be going easy on them when they meet on the battlefield. N sees that and said to his friend that he shouldn't be forcing himself to battle alongside him if it means going against the family. But Zoroark explained to N that he doesn't care about that. He trusts N, and if that means going against the family, he's fine with that. The two of them leaves. However, when Ash attempts to leave, Zora approaches him, saying that he doesn't want Ash to go, and he actually wants to go with him. This is a surprise to him. However, the Elder and Mima agreed to it, saying that they believe that Ash will be able to help Zora grow. Surprised by this, but Ash is nevertheless happy to have Zora on the team, but when he catches it, the Pokemon closes. Seeing now he has 6 Pokemon, he cannot have it open until he sends one to the lab. After promising Mima and the Elder to take care of Zora, Ash returns to the Poké Center and decides to send goodbye over to Professor Oak's lab for some well-deserved rest. And with that, Ash now has his 5th Unova Pokemon. When the gang all meet up again, they tell them about each other's story, and Hilbert says that he believes he's now ready to take on Elesa once again. Hilda is a bit worried, but Ash encouraging Hilbert to go for it. So the following day, they return to the gym, and Hilbert challenged Elesa to a rematch, which she agrees to. The first matchup is Galvantula versus Musharna. Quite the opposite of the first match. While Galvantula had the bug typing, Musharna is able to use his hypnosis and confuse rate to disorient it long enough to land a close-up sidewing which takes it out. Next is Emolga, and using its superior speed is able to take Musharna out without much trouble. Then Hilbert sent in Tortuga. And being fresh, his rock type move is able to weaken Emolga a lot more. In the end, it comes to a collision between Electro Ball and Ancient Power. And when both lands, it reveals to be a double knockout. With that, Elesa sent in her final Pokemon Zebstrika, as Hilbert in his final Pokemon, and to the game's surprise, Pignite. He decided to put his faith in Pignite, but he get a bit worried first, because immediately when the battle begins, Pignite rushes in without listening. However, that gives Elesa the advantage. Zebstrika is able to deliver heavy hits before Zebstrika can do anything, before Pignite can actually counter. Hilbert convinces Pignite that if they're going to win, they need to work together. So in the end, Pignite decides to listen to Hilbert, and the two of them are able to work well. Eventually, after a couple of flame shots, Pignite is able to catch up to intercept Striker before barreling into the powerful flamethrower, which are able to take Striker out. Meaning Hilbert had won the rematch and now gotten his 4th gym badge. The last thing that happens while they're in Boston City is while they're attempting to leave, they run into Bianca. However, she's not alone because she's actually there with her father. Her dad tried to tell Bianca to return home because he's not ready to become a trainer. As Hilbert and Hilda tries to stand up for Bianca, telling her father that he's a great trainer and she shouldn't give up journey just because he says so. Eventually, he agrees that if Bianca is able to defeat him in a battle, so she's allowed to continue her journey. However, if he loses, she has to return home with him right away. Being a bit nervous, however, having as Hilbert and Hilda supporting her, she agrees. Her dad tells her that they will have the battle tomorrow so she can prepare. She shouldn't get her hopes up because he's not gonna be holding back. Once he leaves, Bianca tells more about her father. He had always been against her going on a journey. Even when she befriended a Pokemon when she was little, he took it away. But now she's gonna prove to her father that she is more than ready to embark on a journey. The following day, the two of them meet up on a battlefield and it's time for them to have a battle. Bianca then said that they can have a best out of 3 match. Bianca agrees and the first matchup is Sock versus Pignite. While Sock is definitely powerful, Pignite has power and defense. Using a roller to increase his speed, is actually able to outmaneuver Sock and deliver some heavy hits. Eventually it comes down to a clash between Brick Breaks and Pignite comes out on top. Next up is Darmanitan versus Mienfoo. But Darmanitan has power, however Mienfoo is agile to his dodge and delivers some great hits. However, when it looks at Mienfoo at the other hand, Darmanitan switches into Zen mode. Using its improved psychic ability, it's actually able to take down Mienfoo relatively quickly. With that, it's left to 1-on-1. Bianca then tries to convince Bianca to give up, says that she's not going to win. However, Bianca refuses to lose. She's gonna win. She's gonna be doing it with the one Pokemon he denied her. Just then, Bianca stands in Swimport as Bianca gets it in a Petal. Seeing this, Bianca has to Brown. Bianca then reveals this is the same Petal she befriended when she was young. Petal had been waiting for Bianca all this time so when she became a trainer to join her. The two of them is in perfect sync. Sync is able to easily outmaneuver and deliver heavy damage to Simipour. Eventually, it fires off a powerful energy ball and Simipour falls. When Bianca has defeated her father and is allowed to continue her journey. Her dad then walks up to her, telling that he's sorry and that he only wanted her to be safe. But now he sees that Bianca is more than able to take care of herself. The two of them make up, with Bianca thanking a friend for supporting her. With that, Bianca and her dad leave for the Pokemon Center to do some more catching up. And with that out of the way, Ash, Hilbert, and Hilda continue onward toward their next destination. And that will be all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you like this. And I'll see you all in part 6. Bye!